everybody, Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here. Today we're going to talk about jamming a little bit and how we can use stuff that we've already talked about, specifically maybe more exercise things, and then turn them into something a little more musical. So make sure you click the link below to get the tab of what we're going to do here. We're going to introduce two concepts and put them together over a backing track, and then we're just going to start rocking out. You can do this over any kind of song you'll ever come up with. All you need to do to play like that is know one pentatonic scale and one arpeggio, okay? So this is going to be in the key of C. Now, we're not even going to play a C major chord, which is kind of the cool part about this. This is what's going to give it a little bit of that different sound. So the first thing we need to know is an F major arpeggio. All right, now that backing track that I was just playing was just two chords, C to F. Okay? So anything, for the purpose of this example, these are going to be two major chords and stuff you can do over them. All right? Now that F major chord, we can represent that in a lead playing way by doing an arpeggio. Arpeggio is just playing that one note at a time. So we're going to root it on the first fret of the E string. This is going to be the first figure on that tab. And then we're going to do this. All right? Super simple. We're staying on the first low or the lowest E string. 1, 3, 5. So pointer finger, ring finger, and then slide from 3 to 5. I think it's really important that you use the right fingers for this. Again, you can do whatever you want, but it's going to be easier the way your hand lines up with the guitar to do it this way. So 1, 3, 5 on the low E string. Like I said, we're going to line up now with your pointer finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. If that's a little bit of a reach, don't worry. If you can't do that just resting, just get there. All right, so we're on the 3rd fret of the A string, which is a C, which is a chord tone of that C to F progression that we were just playing. 1, 3, 5, 3A, straight down a string. And this is going to be the octave of where we started. That's the lower F and the next pitch F, okay? So we're running through an F major chord, which is just an F, an A, and a C, and ending up on another F. Technically, this note right here, the 3rd fret, is a G, but we're just kind of using that as a way to get to what's called the major third of an F to an A, right? Now, once we get here, we're actually going to slide one whole step, 2 frets higher from the 3rd fret of the D string to the 5th fret of the D string. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we're getting in to a scale position. So, if you've ever learned the pentatonic scale, which you definitely probably have, or you've seen it before, this is a great reason to learn that, because we're going to start linking chords into shapes, all right? So the next figure on the tab is going to be the A minor pentatonic shape. 5th fret on the low E string, 8th fret on the low E string, A string 5-7, D string 5-7, G string 5-7, B string 5-8, high E string 5-8. You should be able to really kind of go through this forward and backwards. I'm just playing this finger style, play with the pick, however you want to do it. Just get it done, right? Now the great thing about the pentatonic scale and any of these pentatonic shapes is you can double stop through them. Double stopping is when you play 2 notes at the same time. So the reason that this is like the one shape to learn in all of guitar lore is because you'll notice my pointer finger starts every string. So if we just took the first of 2 notes per string, you end up just getting the 5th fret all the way down the line. Now that's really helpful in double stopping because we can start doing things like where you kind of like hit 2 strings. Like for example, I'm going to hit the D string 5th fret and the G string 5th fret. So I'm kind of barring both of these together. And then I'm going to hammer on with my ring finger the 7th fret, which again is from that scale. Okay, and it gives it like a thicker sound, which kind of has a nice lead playing atmosphere that you're going to kind of want to use sometimes. And you can hammer on any of these strings because, like I said, that 5th fret is just, you can bar it straight down. You can double stop all the way down. So what I was doing earlier when I was playing that loop from that F to the C, I'm double stopping. And then what I'm going to do is go backwards from that shape and then end up on a C. So double stop. basically, the way that you can do that is think of these two separate things and start combining them together. Now, the nice thing about this and why it sounds less like an exercise is because we're kind of going backwards and linking them together, all right? So I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this too, if I'm doing some kind of like line through the fretboard or something, I practice it forward more than I practice it backward. And that's something we're gonna start breaking out of. So the great thing about this, which I'll tab out, is we have these double stops as we're going backwards through the pentatonic scale. So if you did it a single note at a time, we can kind of just take the G and the D strings, 7, 5, 7, 5, and then you can take this as an opportunity to switch into that arpeggio that we did, right? As soon as we get to that 3rd fret on the D string, that's an F, and remember that's where we ended up at the end of that arpeggio, right? So after we double stop through there, we're gonna kind of see this as like maybe the end of one section and the transition to the next section. So my pointer finger's on the 5th fret of the D string, and the way I got here was double stopping backwards through hammer-ons or pull-offs, however you want to play this. It's not about playing it this way. It's about finding whatever way you kind of want to, incorporate whatever you want your sound to be. But the 5th fret on the D string is where we're going to use to slide back a step and then complete that arpeggio. All right. So again, backwards it would be 3D, 3A, 5, 3, 1. Okay? So forward into, which is another great way to play it, kind of sliding into something. And then you can kind of continue on with licks and stuff like that. We've got a lot of videos on just different licks, different pentatonic stuff that you can check out if you check out the channel here. But we're focusing specifically on going backwards through these chords. So again, into the arpeggio, and then I'm tagging it with that F major chord C and meeting where that backing track ends up happening. That's why it's great to have a looper or to play the backing tracks where you know what the chords are, because eventually, and then that's a super simple one, that was just C to F. So it's a simpler backing track like that is nice because it really helps you kind of distinguish where the chord is that you're trying to play over. So even though I'm taking this from the A minor pentatonic scale, that's a very important scale in the key of C because it's what's called the relative minor. We got videos on that too, but I don't want to get too far into that. I just want to make this more of an exercise in kind of discovering some lead playing techniques that link together stuff that you maybe already know, like arpeggios, like the pentatonic scale. And all this stuff is movable. Like let's say I want to do something in the key of G, right? All you have to do is find the relative minor of the key of G, which it's always the 6th note of any key. So G, A, B, C, D, E, right? The 6th note of G is E. So the 12th fret could be the E minor pentatonic scale. And we do the same thing. It's the exact same thing, it's just moved down. Now the chords are different too, right? Just like I said, the first one was that C and F progression. So that would be a 1, C, D, E, F, a 1 to a 4. In this key of G1, it would be G, A, B, C. It'd be a G to a C. G to C. So if we run that C arpeggio, and then right here, again, the C arpeggio would be 8E, 10E, 12E, 10A, straight down to the octave C. All these things line up the exact same way together. And then a step higher, and then now we're in the E minor position to do double stops. And do the exact same thing that we started to get the whole thing out there. So, I think it's really good to kind of tag any key that you're in, start to see where these minor pentatonic double stops occur within a key. And again, I personally think the best way to do that is always to find the relative minor. I personally think that sounds good. Really, it's up to your own taste at the end of the day. But I just think these are a great way to combine major arpeggios and then run them into like different spots where you can do a bunch of cool bluesy, jazzy licks, whatever your preference is. And then just to rock out, do it at a super slow pace. Speed is definitely not important. You just kind of want to get some cool, clean sounding stuff, and then do your thing. So hopefully you learned something. Let us know if you have any questions, if you want to see more videos like this. And again, make sure you click that link to get the tab. If you have any questions, like I said, let us know. Click around on these other videos by myself, other great instructors on the Guitar Control channel. Let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.